Okay, so this is by far the most important video for you if you're one, are planning to start your business, or two, your business is under 2 years old. Reason being is this video is the most important thing to get people to buy your stuff, and this does not get talked about enough. And the reason it does not get talked about enough is because it's boring. It's boring as hell. So what is it? It's not some shiny marketing, and it's not some fancy, fluffy, whatever stuff. It's basically how to talk to customers to find your product market fit. And before you say, well, duh, of course I know how to talk to my customers, and of course I need to do this for product market fit. Well, no. I literally run a product studio, and I have built 4 apps for clients of ours, so 4 apps for startups, and none of them talked enough to the customers, even though all of them thought they did. And the reason it's important to talk to customers is when you do that, you know what to build. Because if you don't, you're building in a void. You think people want one thing, but you build a different thing, and people are not gonna buy it. People are only gonna buy if the thing that you built exactly matches what they need. And there is only really one way to correctly doing it. I'm just clicking all over the place here. So basically, I spoke to 10 customers last week of this platform that we were building, and there are some takeaways that we learned while speaking to customers of how to frame your questions correctly so that you know what people are talking about. Because if you don't, people are going to say, yes, I want your product, but then they're not going to pay for it. So here are the learnings. Come on, go to the next page, please. There we go. First things, you need to fix your behaviors. When you're on the chat, and if you mess these behaviors up, the person is going to he's going to intuitively want to tell you don't tell you the truth, because he would want to flatter you up. And the second that happens, he's going to say, of course I'm going to buy your product, whatever, you're done. The second that happens, you know the person is not being honest with you. And you want him to be honest because you want to get the brutal truth. So first of all, you talk less and listen more. You don't want to pitch your business. You want to listen to what he says, so you shut up as much as possible. Next, for every meeting, you have a clear, detailed structure of how that meeting needs to go. And you want to have clear questions that you want to ask to every single person, because every person is going to be slightly unique. So do your research and ask the questions that are relevant to the person. Then, very important, keep your conversation casual. If you start chatting with a guy and you start throwing very formal setting, very formal questions, the person is going to feel stressed. The second the person feels stressed, he's going to feel the need to answer your questions the way you want them to be answered. But that's exactly not what you want to do. You want the person to answer the questions in a way that has the potential to destroy your business completely. Only this way are you going to get the truth of the truth. And finally, you want to take notes. And what's important when you take notes is you take the notes in his own language. So exactly word for word, the way he's saying it, that's how you note it. Reason being, when you write your marketing materials later on, you can use the exact language that the customer used to sell it to the customers. Because oftentimes, even though you think it's the same thing, just one word difference can make a huge impact on conversions. And this is how you catch those words. Now that you have the behaviors, let's go to the next slide. It's your questions, how to frame and structure your questions correctly. Now, this is very, very important. First of all, you do never pitch your business. You do not talk about your business. You want to focus on talking about the customer himself, his life, and his experiences. You don't even reveal what your product is. Because if he knows, he's going to put his life in such a way that flatters your product. So in the same, when we were building the software that I was talking about, which was this one, this is a software that prepared people for the GMAT. So it's a standardized exam, and people go into the software and they learn on the software. We never said we have a software. We were talking purely about their journey with taking this exam, how it runs, how they're preparing, and so on. And then you keep your questions neutral. You basically ensure that you're not searching for a particular answer. But this should be clear. Finally, this is the most important slide of everything. What to ask. This is where everyone messes it up, literally. So what you want to do is you ask about specifics in the past, not opinions from the future. So rather than saying, oh, what happens if I would build this and this platform for you? Do you think it would help you? Everyone would say yes. It's a bad question. Instead, you should be asking, what have you done in the past? So I'll tell you a fun story here just to nail down this point. I was on an interview last week with a person, and in the platform, we're deciding whether to build lessons or not to build them. And the reason is, lessons are actually not that helpful in preparing you for that particular exam. However, when people see lessons, we had the theory that when people see lessons, they're going to be more compelled to buy the platform because it's like an all-inclusive platform. So what we asked the guy? We asked the guy, well, first of all, the first thing we asked him was specifics in the past. We asked him, how did you prepare for that exam? He said, well, I purchased a similar platform and I completed every single lesson on that platform. And then I went to the questions. Okay. Further later in the conversation, we actually asked him, how do you think we should be building the platform? And the guy told us, well, actually, I believe you should not be building the lessons, you should be doing the questions because the questions are more useful. You see, like if we asked him about this, he would say, yeah, the questions are more useful, even though this guy did every single lesson on the other platform. So this shows us we have to build lessons because the behavior shows us that lessons are important. But what he's saying is a completely different thing. So it's important to ask him what he is doing in his life and how he has been doing it in the past. Because it's hard to make things up in the past. However, it's very easy to say, oh yes, I would definitely use this in the future. Very important. So yeah, ask about facts, not what he thinks. So what does he do? Very important. This is like the most important thing. Just if you take one thing away from this, take this with you. Finally, bonus. If you want to really stretch it, ask for a commitment. Ask them to pay a small amount as an upfront fee and see whether you can sell it. If you can't, well, you probably have a problem. There are some cases where it's difficult to sell on just from a customer conversation, and this is like for very like advanced B2B software as a service. But usually, if you ask 10 people and you at least get one person to commit, this is a very, very good positive sign. This finishes this video. If you need help with me developing your software for your business or your software to sell the software to customers, you can always reach out to me. That being said, see you very soon.